They handed everyone park passes. Except my kid. Guess we didn't think you'd be here, my dad said like it was funny. My daughter looked down. I smiled, packed our things and drove off. That evening I removed myself from the family trust. 3 hours later. 25 missed calls. My dad has this thing he does when he wants to feel important. He stands up like he's giving a speech and draws out whatever he's about to say like we're all waiting for him to read the will. Saturday afternoon we were all in the backyard at my parents' place. Folding chairs, lukewarm lemonade, my mom's potato salad that she makes way too often. And then he clapped his hands together and said, "All right. Who wants to go to Everwild Park next weekend? It's a big family park that just opened. Water slides, zip lines, overpriced churros." All the kids gasped like it was Disneyland. My dad pulled out a manila envelope and started handing out passes like golden tickets. My sister's boys were first, 2 passes each. One for them, one for their dad. Then my brother's twins and his wife. Even my brother-in-law's nephew, who isn't even related, got one. Then there was silence. My daughter Mia was sitting cross-legged on the grass with a paper plate of watermelon in her lap. She looked up, waited. My dad didn't look at her. Didn't even pretend to shuffle for one more pass. He caught me staring. Gave this half smile and said, "Guess we didn't think you'd be here." Like it was funny. I didn't say a thing. I smiled like it was fine, stood up slowly and started packing our things. No drama. No raised voices. Just folded the picnic blanket, gathered the paper cups, tossed everything into a bag. My mom asked if I wanted to stay for the pie. I said we had plans. We didn't. That night, while Mia was asleep on the couch with a juice box in one hand and her favorite stuffed rabbit in the other, I logged into my laptop and opened the family trust documents. I was listed as a secondary beneficiary along with my siblings. Mia was included too at my insistence a few years ago. I removed both our names. I didn't call anyone. Didn't explain. Just clicked save, signed the form digitally, and sent it off to the lawyer who handles our family's estate. My grandfather set it up, old money from a cabin business that turned into something bigger. I was never after it, but I always assumed if something happened to me, Mia would be taken care of. Clearly I'd been naive. 3 hours later my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. 25 missed calls. First from my dad. Then my mom. Then my sister, who never calls unless someone dies. A string of texts too. "Hey, can we talk? Why would you do that? Let's not make this a big deal." I didn't answer. That evening they all posted photos from the barbecue. Big family smiles, paper crowns, someone holding up a cake. Mia wasn't in any of them. Neither was I. She asked me once why we left early. I told her I forgot about an errand. She didn't press. But the thing is, Mia's birthday was in 8 days. And this year for the first time I had a reason to go all out. Not for the presents. Not for the cake. For the message. Because if they wanted to draw a line, I was more than happy to show them what it looked like from my side. I don't know what flipped in me exactly. Maybe it was the way Mia went quiet in the car on the ride home. Or maybe it was how normal everyone else acted after what happened, like leaving her out was a clerical error, something to laugh off. Either way, by the time we got home I knew I wasn't going to just let it go. I pulled out my laptop and started planning that night. I'd never thrown a big birthday for Mia. Mostly small cakes, quiet days, something thoughtful. But this year I wanted her to feel something different. Surrounded. Celebrated. Included. And I wanted my parents to see exactly what that looked like from the outside. It took about 2 hours to lock everything down. I found this modern beach house 2 hours south, right on the coast. 6 bedrooms, a heated pool, floor-to-ceiling windows, and a deck that looked like it was built for a magazine shoot. It was expensive. Like stupid expensive. I booked it anyway. I told myself it was a one-time thing. Then I started sending messages. I texted my sister first. "Doing something for Mia's birthday next weekend. Just us and the kids. You guys in?" She responded so fast it surprised me. "Absolutely. Don't even ask. She deserves it." I texted my brother next. "Beach house weekend for Mia. You guys up for it?" He wrote back with one word. "Book." By noon the next day I'd arranged rides, reserved a chef who handled all the meals, even ordered custom gift bags for the kids. Matching beach towels, goggles, little jars of candy with their names on them. And for Mia, a new bathing suit with her favorite cartoon character on it, and a glitter crown that spelled her name across the front. On Wednesday I shipped out envelopes with plane tickets for my sister's family. Same for my brothers. Each included a little note from Mia that I helped her write. She didn't know exactly what she was inviting them to, but she liked the idea of surprising them. My parents never got an envelope. Never got a call. Not a mention. Thursday morning my mom texted asking if we were still coming for her Saturday dinner. Said she had Mia's favorite cookies baking already. I didn't answer. An hour later she sent another. "Is Mia okay?" Mia was great. Friday evening we met at the airport. Mia still didn't know where we were going. I just told her it was something fun, just the cousins and us. She had this cautious excitement about her, like she was waiting for someone to come tell her the plan had changed. I think part of her still expected her grandparents to show up. They didn't. We landed just before sunset. The vans were waiting for us outside. When we pulled up to the house, it was glowing from inside, warm yellow lights spilling out of every window like something from a movie. Mia was quiet until we opened the front door. Then she ran straight to the living room, jumped onto the couch and shouted, "This is for me?" I told her it was all hers. The house. The beach. The weekend. That night we had tacos by the fire pit, cake by the pool and a late-night movie on the deck. The kids ran wild. Mia didn't stop smiling once. After everyone went to bed I checked my phone. 6 missed calls from my dad. No voicemail. Just calls spaced a few minutes apart. Saturday morning I posted a single photo. Mia in her crown, arms out, the ocean behind her. Caption, "Family weekend. Happy birthday my girl." 20 minutes later my sister showed me her phone. Mom's freaking out. She saw the post. She asked where we were. I told her we were busy. That afternoon, Mia opened her presents on the beach one by one. She didn't ask once why her grandparents weren't there. And I didn't offer a reason. They knew. Sunday night after the trip I laid in bed and replayed the weekend over in my head. Mia's laugh on the beach. Her sitting on the kitchen counter while the chef showed her how to crack eggs. Her falling asleep mid-sentence in the living room with the other kids piled around her like puppies. It was the first time I saw her like that, fully relaxed. Like she didn't feel like the extra person in the room. And for the first time in years, I wasn't walking on emotional eggshells around my own family. I didn't realize how heavy that had become until it was gone. I checked my phone. 8 missed calls now. 4 from my mom, 4 from my dad. No voicemails, just repeated attempts like they thought I might pick up eventually by mistake. I didn't. Monday morning I got a text from my dad. "This has gone too far. You need to come by and talk." I stared at it for a while before putting my phone face down on the kitchen table. What exactly had gone too far? Was it the part where my daughter was left out of a family plan in front of every other cousin? Or the part where I finally reacted? At lunchtime a second message came in from my mom. "We didn't mean anything by it. Don't let one little thing ruin the family." One little thing. Like it was a spilled drink. Like it was something I was making into a bigger deal than it was. It was never about that one day. This had been building since Mia was born. They didn't show up when I had her. Said the drive was too far and they figured I'd want space. No phone calls during those first few weeks. No offers to help. The first time they met her was when she was almost 2 months old, and even then it was on their way to a golf weekend. They stayed for 20 minutes. Didn't hold her. Every birthday since. Missed or mailed in. Every family event. She was either left out or barely acknowledged. Even when I said something, even when I asked directly for them to include her more, I always got the same line. "We just aren't kid people." But they were always kid people for my sister's boys. For my brother's twins. For every other grandchild. Just not mine. So no, it wasn't one little thing. It was years of little things adding up. Tuesday afternoon a package arrived at my door. No return address, but I knew who it was from. Inside was a hot pink tablet in a glittery case. Wrapped up with a lazy bow. Probably something they overnight in a panic after seeing my posts from the weekend. Mia opened it, looked at it for a long time, then said quietly, "Did they send this because they forgot my birthday again?" I told her the truth. That maybe they were trying, but it didn't mean she had to accept it. She asked if she could give it to her friend Sarah, whose tablet broke last month. I nodded. That was that. We packed it back up and walked it over to Sarah's house together. Wednesday morning I posted a photo from the beach trip. Mia and her cousins jumping into the pool midair, caught in a moment that looked like pure freedom. The caption said, "You don't need everyone to show up. Just the right people." It took exactly 17 minutes for the reaction. My dad texted, "So we're just the villains now? After everything we've done for you?" I laughed. What exactly had they done for me? Besides disappointment in prettier wrapping paper? My sister called later that day. She said Mom was spiraling, crying on and off, accusing everyone of turning against her. Dad was pacing around the house saying I was punishing them publicly. Then she said something I didn't expect. "Honestly, I've been wanting to say this for a long time. They treat your daughter differently. We all see it. I just didn't want to be the one to say it first." I sat down when I heard that. Because for years I'd wondered if I was imagining it. If maybe I was just sensitive or bitter or reading too much into things. I wasn't. I told her I wasn't trying to punish anyone. I just wasn't going to let them keep showing up halfway and calling it love. She asked if I thought I'd ever talk to them again. I said maybe. But not before they understood the cost of ignoring a child who never did anything wrong. Let them sit with that. Let them feel what it's like to be the one left out. Because silence has a way of getting louder the longer it lasts. By Thursday night, I could feel the tension in the air even though no one was saying anything directly. It wasn't peace. It was the kind of quiet that builds when people are preparing to twist the story. My parents had gone radio silent since I ignored their last text. But I knew them well enough to know silence didn't mean surrender. It meant strategy. Friday was uneventful. Mia had a field trip, came home with a paper crown and a sticker that said, Explorer of the Day. She was glowing, talking a mile a minute about a bird she saw that definitely winked at her. I let her talk while I made dinner, but my mind was somewhere else. At 8:41 p.m. my sister sent me a screenshot with no comment. It was my mother's Facebook post. 12 plates, cloth napkins, candles, wine glasses, the dining room table set like she was hosting a magazine shoot. The caption said, Can't wait to have everyone around the table this Saturday. Family is everything. I stared at it for a long time. No mention of Mia. No mention of me. Just everyone. I scrolled through the comments. People gushing about how beautiful everything looked. One of my mom's friends wrote, So nice to see a real family staying close these days. I didn't comment. I didn't even like the post. I just locked my phone and went to bed with this cold feeling in my chest. By Saturday morning I had decided to stay offline completely. Mia and I baked cinnamon rolls, watched cartoons and went to the park. I didn't want her to feel anything different about the day, like we were missing something. We weren't. But around 11:30 a.m., my phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer. Something told me to. Michelle? This is Catherine. Well, your cousin kind of. Marilyn's niece. I hadn't seen her in years. Maybe 15? She sounded nervous. Said she'd seen the posts. Then she said this. I probably shouldn't get involved, but your mom's been telling people that you've been pulling away from the family because you're emotionally unpredictable. She said Mia's not going to be attending events anymore and that we should give you space. I only found out because she said it to someone at church and it got back to me. I sat down slowly. She added, I didn't believe it. Especially not after the birthday photos. I just thought you should know. In case you were wondering why people are acting weird. I thanked her, told her I appreciated it. Then I hung up and stared at the kitchen tiles for a while. It wasn't just exclusion. It was premeditated. My mom was laying the groundwork weeks ago. She knew exactly what she was doing at that backyard barbecue when she forgot to bring a pass for Mia. It wasn't forgetfulness, it was a message. I sent one group text. Just to my brother and sister. Ask Catherine what mom's been saying behind my back. Just know who you're defending before you defend them. My brother replied an hour later. I just got off the phone with her. I had no idea. My sister called. She didn't even say hello. Just breathed into the phone for a second and said, Michelle, this is bad. Yeah, it was. At 6:50 p.m. I posted a single photo. Mia on the beach holding a more sticky fingers and a full smile. The caption said, Some people get used to setting a table for 12 and forgetting who they left out. 20 minutes later my mom's Facebook went dark. Post deleted. Comments wiped. No replacement. Then at 9:13 p.m. our doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. I wasn't dressed to open the door. I checked the peephole. It was my dad. Alone. In a windbreaker holding a crumpled paper grocery bag. Just standing there. Not knocking. Not calling. Waiting. I stood there on the other side of the door, heart racing, not angry, not afraid. Just stunned. Because if he was here something had cracked. And I wasn't sure I was ready to hear what came next. I didn't open the door right away. I stood there staring through the peephole, watching my dad shift his weight from one foot to the other. He wasn't pacing. Wasn't checking his phone. Just standing there with a wrinkled grocery bag hanging from his hand like he wasn't sure what else to do with it. This was the same man who always had something to say. Always had a plan. Seeing him quiet like that unsettled me more than if he'd been yelling. I finally opened the door. He looked surprised, like he hadn't actually expected me to. His eyes flicked past me into the house, then back to my face. He didn't smile. Didn't crack a joke. He held out the bag. I took it. Inside were photographs. Not neatly arranged. Just loose. Some old, edges curled. Me as a kid at a lake. Me at a birthday party I barely remembered. And then Mia. As a baby. As a toddler. Standing in my parents' backyard holding a bubble wand. I swallowed. I didn't know they'd kept these. Your mom doesn't know I'm here, he said. I nodded once. He cleared his throat. I saw his jaw tighten the way it does when he's bracing himself. I saw what you posted. The beach. The kids. He paused. Then said it. You were right. I looked at him. We left her out. Not just this time. For a long time. That landed heavier than anything else he could have said. He rubbed his hand over his face. I think we convinced ourselves you didn't need us. You always handled things on your own. After the divorce. After Mia. You never asked for help, so we assumed. He stopped. Shook his head. That doesn't excuse it. I know that now. I felt something rise up in my chest. Years of swallowed words. Kept my voice even. You didn't ignore me. You ignored her. He nodded. I know. That silence stretched between us. Thick. Honest. Uncomfortable. Finally he said, I don't want to be the kind of grandfather she talks about someday like she never mattered to. That one almost broke me. I stepped aside and let him in. Mia was on the couch, knees pulled up watching cartoons. She noticed him immediately. Her body stiffened. She didn't run. She didn't smile. He just watched. He crouched down a little, careful not to invade her space. Hey Mia. She glanced at me. I gave her a small nod. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a folded paper. I tried to draw something for you. I'm not very good at it. He took it slowly. Opened it. It was her. At the beach. Crown on her head. Waves behind her. The lines were rough, but it was unmistakably her. She didn't say thank you. She didn't hug him. She just studied it, then carried it back to the couch and set it beside her. He didn't push. He stood back up. We sat at the kitchen table after that. He asked about her school. About what she liked to eat now. I answered plainly. No warmth. No hostility. Just facts. He asked if we'd come by sometime soon. I didn't answer. He nodded like he understood. I know trust doesn't work on a schedule. When he left, he didn't linger. Just said goodnight and walked out into the dark. After the door closed, Mia came over and hugged my waist. He seemed different, she said. I kissed the top of her head. Different doesn't mean fixed. But that night, when I tucked her into bed, I noticed she'd placed the drawing on her nightstand. That was when I realized something had shifted. Not healed. Not forgiven. But cracked open just enough to let something real begin. The following week was quiet, but not the kind of quiet that comes from avoidance. It felt like the air had cleared a little. No more group texts pretending nothing had happened. No passive-aggressive Facebook posts. Just space. On Wednesday I got a card in the mail. Handwritten. My mom's handwriting. The envelope was thick. 2 pages inside. The first page was an apology. Not vague. Not sugar-coated. She said she hadn't recognized how obvious their favoritism had become. That she thought she was keeping the peace by being even, and instead she made Mia feel invisible. She wrote, there is no peace in exclusion. I see that now. The second page was different. It was about Mia. She wrote about how she remembered the first time she held her, and how she was afraid to get attached, afraid she wouldn't know how to connect. She wrote about how she watched me become a mother without asking if I needed support. And that every year she sat out, every birthday she skipped, she thought she was giving me space, and was only now realizing she'd used that as an excuse to disappear. She ended it by saying, I want to know her. Not just from pictures. From you. If you'll let me try. I didn't cry reading it. I didn't feel sudden forgiveness. But I felt something. Mia found the card later that evening on the table. She asked if she could read it. I let her. She sat there in silence, rereading the last page. She wrote about me, Mia said. Yeah. She did. She didn't ask what we were going to do next. She just nodded and walked to her room with the card in hand. 2 days later I got a text from my mom. We're having dinner this Sunday. No expectations. There's a chair for both of you. The part that stood out wasn't the invitation. It was the both of you. I didn't respond right away. Sunday came. Mia and I went for a long walk in the morning. We passed a flower shop and she asked if we could bring something. I asked her why. He shrugged. So they know I'm not mad. She picked out a bunch of wild-looking daisies and baby's breath. That evening we walked up the front steps of the house I grew up in. Same creaky porch. Same porch light that flickered. The door opened before we knocked. My mom stood there, hands nervously folded. And for the first time in a long time she knelt down. Hi Mia. I'm really glad you're here. Mia handed her the flowers. My mom looked stunned, like she didn't expect anything. Thank you, she said. These are beautiful. Inside the table was set again. But this time there were only 8 seats. No performance. No photo-ready perfection. Just enough. There was a card at each place setting. And at Mia's, a name tag with a little sticker heart. Dinner wasn't dramatic. No big speeches. No tense stares. Just slow conversation. My dad told a story from when I was Mia's age that made her laugh. My mom asked about her favorite subjects at school. They listened. Really listened. After dinner, Mia walked over to the piano. She played the only song she knew by memory, a clumsy but sweet version of Twinkle Twinkle. No one interrupted her. When it was time to go, my mom hugged her gently and said, Anytime you want to come back, that chair is yours." In the car, Mia was quiet. Then she said, "I think they're trying now." I nodded. "I think so too. Trying doesn't erase the past. It doesn't undo what was said or what wasn't. But it's a start. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't bracing for what would go wrong. I was just letting things be." The update. It's been almost 6 months since that dinner. The kind where nobody cried, nobody stormed out, and nothing burned down. It was the first time in years I left my parents' house without that familiar weight in my chest. The kind that sits between your ribs for days after being around people who claim to love you, but don't know how to show it. Since then, something strange has happened. Something I never expected. Consistency. It didn't start with grand gestures. It started small. A weekly text from my mom asking how Mia's week was going. A birthday card mailed on time to Mia's best friend, which, to me, meant more than if she'd bought her a car. My dad started picking Mia up from piano practice once a week. At first, I stayed home those days, nervous, half expecting him to forget or say something tone-deaf. But he didn't. Every time she came back, she had a story. One time he let her order fries and a milkshake for dinner, and they made a game of not telling me. Another time he brought her to a small art shop downtown and bought her a sketchbook. He told me later he started drawing again. Said it calms his mind. The second surprise came at Mia's school recital last month. They showed up. Early. Sat front row. My mom brought a bouquet of mismatched grocery store flowers. My dad had a camcorder. A real one. I watched them from the back of the auditorium, not fully believing it. They stood and clapped like she was the only kid on the stage. And when Mia looked into the crowd, she saw them. The third surprise came from Mia herself. She asked if we could invite them over for dinner. Our house. She wanted to make pasta and garlic bread and show them how she learned to make salad dressing from scratch, which really just meant vinegar and mustard. We set the table for 4. No extra seats. And it felt right. I'm not naive. I don't think people change overnight. There are still awkward moments. There's still history that doesn't disappear because someone finally showed up. But I've stopped keeping score. What I've learned is that sometimes peace isn't a clean ending. It's messy, uneven, quiet. Sometimes it's just the absence of tension for long enough that you notice the air feels easier to breathe. There's no perfect bow on this. No revenge that made everything right. Just a chair pulled out for a little girl who used to be invisible. And 2 grandparents who finally sat down beside her.